HR Success Talk has started its journey in 2012 with a vision to bring HR and business leaders together in a form of a community to share knowledge and learn from each other. Starting from a single blog, we reached our first initiative called Forum to give a bigger platform to HR professionals to collaborate with each other. Later, we realized that we need to connect our members in person along with online. Hence, we launched our vertical called HR Sting Meets, under which we organize HR conferences and meetups where we invite HR and business leaders to talk about best practices in HR and business in different industries. HR Sting Meets also became a platform for our members to network with each other. We continued and also launched our online assessment vertical, which helps professionals at different levels in their career to learn and get a certificate in a specified field in HR. These assessments and certifications help HR professionals to find jobs or advancement in their career. HR Success Talk has leveraged technology while building the community. Our YouTube channel is focused on providing online videos or diverse different topics for benefits of our members. We can find video study material on topics like talent acquisition, HR journalist, HR analytics, learning and development, labor laws, and many more. During pandemic, we launched our webinar vertical. Again, with the use of the technology, we continued our mission of sharing and learning from each other. We touched thousands of lives across the globe and shared knowledge which was meaningful for our members. In HR Success Talk, we believe in recognizing and appreciating the contribution of HR and business leaders in their field, which is equally important. Hence, we launched our award vertical to provide a platform to professionals to give an opportunity to showcase their contribution and get recognized for it. We believe in fairness and capability. Hence, our jury and selection process is built in such a way that it provides opportunity to those who really deserve it. HR Success Talk has a very good presence on multiple social media platforms and other communication channels like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Twitter. You can also visit our website www.hrsuccesstalk.com to read some interesting blog by our HR bloggers on trending topics and issues. We are a huge community with global presence in multiple countries and thousands members and growing every month. We provide a platform to our members where they can learn from each other, can share their knowledge, and knowledge for others' benefit, build relationships and networking, and leverage this networking in any way they feel like. We have so many stories where our volunteers have leveraged this platform to find jobs, get new business opportunities, find a mentor to guide. It is up to them how they wish to leverage and use our platform. And guess what? You don't have to pay a fees to be a member or fill any form. You can be a member by click of a button by liking our Facebook, LinkedIn page, or any other social media channel. Simple, isn't it? You must be wondering how we manage all this. Yes, you guessed it right. We have a force of highly talented volunteers who spend 3 to 5 hours every week of their time for this community. We also invest highly on the development of our volunteers and our HR team organized exclusive training sessions for them. Some of them have started as volunteers and today they are playing the leadership role in this community. If you also have the zeal and passion to serve the HR community and time to contribute, you can send your resume at info@hrsuccesstalk.com to be our volunteer. Our talent team will be in touch with you. For us, this is just a beginning. You can either choose to be part of the journey or watch it from a distance. Let's learn and share together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shivani Deshpande, your host for today. A warm welcome to one and all watching our live stream through different channels right now. I'd like to extend a gratitude towards our media partners, Benefigo, an online platform for HR professionals, and Aapki Khabar, a leading news portal from India. H-Talk series powered by HR Success Talk is a platform that provides empirical learning where we get to understand the life-enriching experiences and insights of our great industry leaders. Well, today I hope everyone's grabbed a cup of coffee because we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic, which is total rewards and compensation. As Doug Conant rightly said, to win in the marketplace, first you need to win in the workplace. True, isn't it? Having a strong and long-term total rewards and compensation strategy has become a mandate, especially in the new normal era. To get us more insights on the same, we have one of our great industry leaders and HR experts, Ms. Snigdha Singh, with us today. An experienced HR and ER professional and an alumnus of Tata Institute of Social Sciences and Lady Shri Ram College, she comes with a massive 11 years of experience in delivering successful results, creating impact, and leading high effective teams. Not just one, but multiple and diversified sectors. That's the experience she brings from. FMCG, whether it be manufacturing, pharmaceutical, HR, automobile, she knows it all. She has also led very, very successful teams amongst various functions like HR, corporate HR, sales, compensation and rewards, and much more. Snigdha has been rewarded as Women Achiever of the Year by Genius in 2016, Best HR Professional by CIPLA in 2017. So without any further delay, let's welcome Snigdha. And thank you so much, Snigdha, for being with us here today and sharing your thoughts. I'm pretty sure that our viewers are now absolutely curious to know what your leadership journey has been. So over to you. Please tell us more.
Thank you so much, Shivani. Thanks a lot. That was such a gracious introduction. And thank you for having me here. I was going through the video of HR Success Talks and it talks about the immense effort that has been put by multiple people. And I know for sure as an HR professional myself, there is so much that we can learn from each other. And, congratulations to all of you doing this great job. Regarding, introducing myself, while you've done most of it, I believe I would like to speak more so about the aspect of rewards in my journey as an HR professional over years and how that has been extremely important in shaping the delivery that I would do as an HR professional overall. So I started my journey with Tata Motors briefly and did my summers with them. And the leader that I had was an HR generalist there. And she asked me, what's the one area that you don't like in HR? And I said, that is compensation and benefits. It's difficult. I don't understand it. I don't know how to run an Excel properly. And the complicated formulae and equations which are given in the theoretical books just make it very difficult for me to, like this subject. So she smiled and said, great. So your summer internship project is going to be on compensation and benefits benchmarking. Now, at that stage, I remember being petrified, for the next 2 months, saying that, hey, what will I do? What does this benchmarking mean? And all she wanted me to do was understand across the board of all the Tata Motors competitors, what are they doing in terms of their bands, their rewards, their recognitions, their compensation, whatever was available in obviously open domain, and benefits, which, would help her hire a talent better. I think those 2 months really helped me understand that, while I always in the learning journey at TIS thought the subject to be extremely complicated, the fact was that it had such an overbearing and powerful impact on everyone's lives that there is no way that as an HR professional you are getting away from it.
Right.
It is integral to every role that you do. And it kept on throughout my journey, every year, every role that I have done. It has impacted in varied forms. While I have been doing a rewards professional role, so to say, only for the past 2 years, but it has been a part of my journey everywhere. So when I was with PNG, we were in the middle of integrating Gillette and PNG compensation structures. And that was so critical to settle the mind of the manufacturing, front line, so to say, your workman category, to make them believe that they were a part of the larger company called PNG, now that Gillette has been merged with them. And how was that possible was when you brought in the benefits of Procter & Gamble to them. What it was relevant for them the moment you were able to tell them that, hey, whatever a person in PNG in another factory gets is what you also get. And that integration actually determined the first step of moving to an organization with a similar culture everywhere. So, like similarly, when I moved on to the next role and came to Cipla, we had started the journey of building the entire HR team. And when we were creating that entire piece, it was extremely important for us to be cost conscious. But at the same time, it was extremely important for us to start designing benefits which the rest of the industry was giving to the sales professionals in a manner that they actually start appreciating the organization beyond just the annual appraisals that they get. So we started the entire performance management systems journey, introduced 4 types of ratings, introduced an annual appraisal cycle. We introduced an R&R linked to the ratings, and all of that actually led people to believe that, yes, the organization is appreciating top performers and consistent performers in a manner that it is built into a system which is transparent. It is built into something that I can explain to a person. I can tell him, hey, this is what you need to do to get XYZ. So while, all these years as an HR BP, I delivered on multi facets, what I understood always was that you can't run away from rewards, something that I, in the beginning,
Correct.
it was a function that I can just, say, I don't understand or I don't want to be a part of. And as we moved in this journey, as we've progressed, what has really changed is that as a professional, you are expected to know what is happening in the industry all the time. Because if you're not aware, then your employees will make you aware, and that's not great. Okay, so you need to be very conscious about what you're delivering, and that's when at OYO, when I got the opportunity to actually take this role up, and of course under the I would say under the mentorship of a rewards expert himself, our CHRO has had immense experience. I literally grabbed that opportunity. So all these years, while I've made constant endeavors to ensure that I am always in different sectors, because while HR philosophy continues to be standard, the application of it changes. Going to this completely different COE has given me the exposure that I just can't be, more thankful for. I mean, today ESOPs are the buzzword in the industry. Today startups are talking about, how is it that equity is ingrained, and it's amazing to be right in the middle of this action. Okay, so that's been my journey so far, and I really feel that while rewards continue to be a pain point for most organizations, that's a place where you find a lot of solutions as well to actually make your talent strategies happen.
Correct. Absolutely. Very correctly put, Snigdha. And also, I think total rewards and compensation is a revolutionary topic these days because it's emerging every single day. And post-pandemic, I think there are quite some challenges that maybe in the next few questions we'll look into it. Sure. So since you come with a very strong HR domain, and like you positively told about your journey, what shift have you seen in the reward strategy
Mhm.
pre-COVID era and now? And how do you think that's going to benefit the new normal, the hybrid work era that is coming up?
Sure, sure. So, Shivani, first things first, there are some things which are ingrained in the rewards philosophy which are not changing at all. That's at least my view. Okay. So, the right rewards philosophy is maintaining a right equation where the right people are getting paid the right amount at the right time and for the right reason. Just too many rights. Okay. And that, to my mind, has not changed and will not change, because you need to get this equation right. You need to ensure that you are able to get the right people, which is the best talent that you want to succeed in the marketplace. You have to do it for the right reasons. If you start rewarding incorrect behaviors or incorrect deliveries, then you are obviously setting yourself up for a failure. If you're not doing it at the right time, it's like justice delayed is justice denied. So you're not doing it at the right time, it's not going to help. It can't be a reaction to something.
Correct.
And it has to be for the right, the right amount, because somebody may not appreciate it, and there would be somebody else with deeper pockets wanting to just snoop in and take that talent away from you. Correct. So that does not change. That does not change irrespective of the pandemic, irrespective of the change that has happened in terms of the boom in the tech, etc. Does not change. What has really changed is how is it that this entire equation is converted, or rather translated, when it comes to execution, right? And of course, with pandemic, there are several set of roles which require your mind, not the muscle, that have completely moved to be online, that have moved to be flexible. And hence the marketplace has suddenly exploded rather.
Yes.
I mean, earlier I needed to have a guy in Bangalore for him to join a company in Bangalore. And the guy also needed to be interested to be in Bangalore because, hey, his spouse is not in Bangalore, as in Gurgaon, or, hey, his family is somewhere else and he has his own challenges. And hence he may not be available for me. So I may be losing on to a good talent in the erstwhile world. Today, it's just open. I mean, it's a marketplace that somebody, even in another country, may choose to make it work for us. In fact, we know of countries where they're grappling with issues of people doing dual employments, because they're just working at home, and it's just convenient. You can, why can't you log in and start working for two organizations? So the talent place for sure has exploded. Suddenly people who could apply their minds are there in abundance. Of course, the muscle power still continues to be similar to what it was.
Yes.
But a lot of roles have changed. I mean, I can't get a security guy to do his job from home. That has not changed. But yes, almost 50% of the jobs that I earlier wanted people to come in for has changed. Now, in that scenario, of course, also with the fact that there are deeper pockets coming in, and there are several startups, new age companies who have enough and more to invest in talent, it has become it's become such a competitive world. My talent acquisition team literally cries every day because, they have to get the right people in. And for that, they have to compete with, the best offer that is out there. And of course, it is extremely competitive. What has changed hence is for, organizations like ours, which are in the new world, is that we have to keep on adopting as much as we can. Move to the total rewards framework, make it more exciting for somebody to join, make it more relevant for them in terms of the rewards that are actually going to hit their bank account. And of course, there are a lot of non-financial aspects which we have to get more and more cognizant of. So people are demanding more flexibility, people are demanding more challenging work, people are demanding faster career progressions. I mean, when I had joined OYA, I was surprised that people wanted a promotion in a year. And now I completely understand what that means. I came from traditional organizations where it was absolutely okay to get promoted once in 4 years, right? So all those things have really impacted the way we plan for our rewards framework. And we can't still be in the world saying that, hey, I will only promote you once a year because my SOP says so. It does not help. I will give you an appraisal only when my time comes in, when my budget cycles kicks in. Okay, there's somebody else who will do that, right? We read an article about a CEO saying that, if you don't want to come to office, please go somewhere else. And the employees did exactly that. They just went somewhere else. So, of course, that has changed. And, a lot of it has introduced or infused a lot of dynamism in
Correct.
how we adopt and how we approach things. At least for a startup world, this has led to a lot of excitement for sure. And,
Correct.
we are loving doing that as well.
I think we as HR have no option but to love what is coming our way, because it's a lot of responsibility. And going back to what you said about the talent acquisition team facing so many questions and challenges, it's true, because more than experience, I think we are looking at skills these days. We are looking at more employee retention, and wherein the strongest reward strategies come in the picture. So absolutely well put. To continue about having the flexibility in rewards, I'd love to ask you, what are the elements that you think employers should keep in mind or consider while they're creating winning reward strategies, as we call it? And do you think flexibility in compensation is better against performance based variables? What are your thoughts on that?
So, Shivani, there are, I always think of this as, let's say, 20 years earlier, where we had this television at home, one screen at home, and there used to be, only one or two specific channels, and they would show only a couple of shows, right? And everyone in the house was supposed to basically plan their lives around it. Right? It was absolutely okay. There's only one show playing. Everyone has to watch it. You don't watch it, you do something else. Today, we have everything on our fingertips, the content, the options, what we want to do, whether it is through our smartphone, whether through multiple hosts of entertainment medias. No four people in the same house are supposed to, enjoy the same content at the same time. That is what has also become on the reward side when it comes to keeping your employees engaged. I cannot do a one-size-fits-all solution anymore. It just does not work. Rewards have to be customized, benefits have to be customized, and whatever level of customization you do, it will always have to cater to the multiple career stages, life stages that your employees are in. And when I'm saying employee, it's not just for him, but it's also for the spouse, it's also for his parents, it's also for the rest of the extended family that matters to that employee. And the more we are able to cater to that, the more we are able to adopt, and hence retention can happen. Today, an employee may get a 10% hike here and there and may decide to move on. But let's say if you are giving him the best flexible working environment, and let's say the company next door is not doing that, there's a high possibility he won't mind that 10% as a premium of getting that flexibility. At the same time, if you are actually pushing somebody to work, let's say 16 hours a day, and that individual is earning, enough wealth. When I'm saying he's not really making income, he's in the wealth domain with equity. He may not mind pushing that extra mile for himself if he feels that, hey, this is the time of my life where I am okay to spend that extra effort from my end, because this is going to lead to, let's say, wealth creation for me, which will help me tomorrow, let's say, to retire early. So, every employee is coming with his own set of expectations, and the more you are able to customize your kind of a proposition for him as an employer, the more chances of you actually retaining him. Because if you don't do that, there is somebody else who will have a better proposition than you. And that's where this entire flexibility in designing your rewards program, left to the level of, let's say, a manager, or at least, a function head, becomes extremely crucial to drive and retain the right talent. That is how I would look at this. And that's the way, at least, we are trying to do a lot of it at our place.
Correct, absolutely. Since we start working on this path that you just said, considerations, good factors, maybe some not so good factors that the employers have to consider going forth, I'm sure there must be certain challenges, certain pitfalls that fall through. If you can help us understand what possibly could be the challenges, or something that you have personally faced, and how have you overcome that?
Sure. So, Shivani, first of all, from a challenge perspective, for being in the rewards function, the biggest challenge is always to be abreast of what is happening. Because, one news article in the morning of an X organization doing something new is enough to set the chatter going everywhere, saying, hey, why not this? We are not in the same world anymore where the annual benchmarking surveys can help you understand what you need to do. They happen once a year in July, and you say, okay, this is what I want to do. And if the market benchmark is a 10% increase, let's plan our lives around it. That is not the situation anymore. It's important for us to be aware that, some company is actually figuring out an ESOP's daily vesting. That is doable. But is that doable for us? Do you want to be entering that domain? They've decided to innovate. And, you also have to figure out if that's the way you want to go about it. We heard recently a news about an organization going to weekly salaries. And they have just decided to kind of build their capacity around it. Now, that's going to be helpful for cash flow. Will that help them actually retain talent? That's a question every other organization would be thinking about. And if that becomes a trend, we follow, right? So the challenge, first of all, is always to be aware about what is happening. And of course, that's not through formal surveys, but it's just about, being out there, listening to what your employees are coming back and telling you, listening to what other organizations are thinking about. The second aspect is, of course, to keep innovating yourself, to keep seeing what is it that you can do better, to keep, to rather enable your business leaders to be able to deliver and kind of keep the right talent in-house and keep them engaged. The third aspect then, of course, for the rewards function is that, somewhere we have the visibility of every function, every department, every area. While it's very important for us to ensure equitable distribution, it's very important for us to ensure that there is parity, because, that however hard we say that it's confidential, there is always some bit of information that finds its way outside. But you still have to be very clear about where is it that you're investing. The functions and the departments that actually are more important to me will always deserve and need the maximum attention. So the effort of the rewards team also has to be in sync with which particular area actually needs more effort, attention, budget for that matter.
Right.
That becomes extremely important. And while we're doing all of this, you need to have a team which is, with the best integrity, because this information is power, and it needs a lot of confidentiality. Absolutely. There is no way that the rewards team is not true to its job, or does something, or indulges into conversations which are detrimental to the organization, because that is where then all the multiple hundred scenarios or options that you are kind of evaluating before you actually end up to one may just end up resulting into a lot of demoralization of the employees versus actually serving the delight that you want. So the challenges come in that front, and the sensitivities along with that is important. One last piece that I feel is a pitfall for a rewards person is if he has not really been on the other side of HR business partnering. I feel that if out and out rewards professionals tend to be more consultative in their approach, because again they have worked with spreadsheet more than actually seeing the impact of what they do on the ground. Versus somebody who has actually been there on the other side and has seen, So I'll just share one example which happened with me. We had run a rewards recognition program in Sibla. And when we had done it for the first time, it received a lot of appreciation, and it was first of its kind for Sibla. Now we did that second year. Somebody else ran it. I moved on from that role. Third year, somebody else ran it. The third year is when we actually appreciated people who had won this 3 years straight on a forum, saying that, these guys are like consistent achievers. So they are super achievers, or some name that we created for them.
Correct.
And of course, they got appreciated, and they were completely, overwhelmed for the fact, because they were around 10 of them out of, like, let's say, a population of 500. And then there's one guy who walks up to me, who I'm an HR business partner for, and says, "Ma'am, I was supposed to be there, and I'm not there." And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, how is that possible? So he puts his Facebook and he shows me that, he's been winning it for the past 2 years. But my data did not show that. And the reason was that his name was similar to somebody else's name, and the employee ID was incorrect, and the VLOOKUP did not get picked up. Now I am on the HR business partner side. And I'm the one who's responding, because interestingly, the first time when I ran this was an error which was done. And this guy was not appreciated, right? Of course, we had to find a way and get him up there, apologize, and of course, make it up to him. But what this example very clearly told me was that because I have been a business partner, and on the side, I've been on the rewards function, I now understand a lot of nuances where things can go wrong. And that is where, when I'm designing anything on a reward side, I'm more cognizant that something can really go wrong. And hence, how is it that I can solve for it when I'm designing it versus actually reaching the execution state? And not that it does not happen. Of course, mistakes happen. A lot of things go wrong.
Right.
And you are far more aware, and hence you can avoid far more things versus, let's say, which you would not do. You would not have this experience, so to say.
Right. Of course. No,
So
absolutely correct. Having that sense of what could be good and what could be the consequences, keeping both the graphs in mind. I think that will help in the better strategizing part as well. That's correct. So I think based on the pitfalls and overcoming those, what do you think, like these days, for compensation, since compensation is skyrocketing, a lot of categories, like one of them could be tech employees category. It's been just speeding up and people have been more demanding. How do you think that is creating internal parity concerns within the organizations as well?
I'm sure this is one pain that all my rewards colleagues would, and not just rewards colleagues, actually all my HR.
This is the most wanted answer for today's show also.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think almost everyone has been grappling with this issue. It is like, when, there is no limit to how much you can compete, right, for the right talent. And employees are also looking at this as an opportunity to evaluate whether they are at the right place, whether they are, kind of, let's say, earning enough when as compared to their peers. And of course, one example of somebody getting a great offer can just certainly set the mind racing. And the FOMO of, hey, if I'm at the wrong place and am I not getting the right pay, and is my organization valuing me enough, can certainly get people to, be thinking. The great resignation has been spoken about, or other kind of leading to death for that matter, on almost every channel. And everyone's been talking about how do you hold on to your people. That's a challenge which is there to stay, at least to my mind. It's not going away for a couple of years at least, especially for the fact that, the skills have become hot skills. And like you said, for the tech employees especially, because we are getting great opportunities. As I mentioned at the beginning, the marketplace has opened up. It's not very important for somebody to be at a particular place for them to actually be able to deliver on that role. And of course, the new generation is also very hungry for success. They are hungry for, doing some great work and earning accordingly.
Correct.
At least while as the traditional organizations are struggling more because they have more defined frameworks and ways of and means of, let's say, retaining a person or approaching compensation revision. I think startups are being far more, they're experimenting with how is it that they can create more and more, ways of retaining people. That, of course, includes the fact that you will appreciate talent at the right time, do an instant recognition, keep people engaged, ensure that the team that they are in is, highly delivering, that they're enjoying what they're doing. Including, giving them the right flexibility as much as possible, supporting them at the right life stages, whether it is through insurance, whether it is through, flexi benefits, so to say, giving you the opportunity of designing your own compensation. And then, of course, on the startup side, there is this amazing opportunity you have, which is equity, which is when you use an opportunity to actually be contributing to the business strategy in a manner that you are also earning from it. And as I said, that is also where companies are now trying to make it very, very real. So there are organizations which are putting aside kitties for buybacks, where they're saying that if you would like to kind of participate, you would like these ESOPs to convert and become real, here's the 5 ways you can do it. And of course, I believe that while we are doing all of that, this will go a long way in for every organization to be able to design a rewards program in which people stay, or in which people feel fairly appreciated and valued rightly. Somewhere there will be a point when we may just end up being at a P75 of what we were earlier. And if that continues, of course, the costs will become non-viable for a lot of organizations, and then slowly, steadily, hopefully, they should start to plateau as well. But while we are in the middle of this, of course, it does have overarching effects, because it's difficult for people to be able to get the right people, get them up to speed, get them to deliver what the organization wants, and of course do it fast, because there's somebody else who's doing it better than that. So yes, so short answer to your long story, it has become extremely critical for every organization to keep innovating in the reward space, because the attrition has become very real. And
absolutely.
Ensuring that the culture is in place, ensuring that people still feel more related to the organization, is also something that everyone's kind of very consciously working towards.
Absolutely. Since gig force is picking up now gradually, slowly, and it's coming up in the market, so that's also becoming one of the very important levers. How do you think the organization should plan the total rewards for gig workforce?
That's okay. So sorry, I could hear my own voice echo. I think there was something wrong. Yeah. We again, in the name of flexibility, we have this new era and new set of employees, which, of course, when you are looking at them, as compared to, let's say, the earlier world, where it was a contractual workforce, where it was only done for roles which were somewhere defined in and around your minimum wages, and roles that were defined in contractual opportunities. That has changed versus, specific skill sets where you are basically hiring for that particular project, for that particular role, and you may not need that skill for a longer time. And hence the employee is also fairly comfortable with doing it for a limited amount of time. That, of course, kind of adds even more complexity to what we already have. We already have a system. We have the wage code bill getting revised. You also need to be cognizant about where do these set of employees lie in your overall, employee cohort. You have to be very cognizant about where do they lie in terms of your rewards as compared to the folks that you have in-house. So fairly difficult again, but it's going to be a reality for a longer time, is how I see it. Because as and when we start getting more project driven, as and when we start getting, we would rather want to get some specific skill sets for a certain duration, and then not want to deliver with them. We will have to keep on kind of, designing and rather kind of, creating more and more ways of, whether it's through getting them on a short-term basis, whether it's about making it exciting for them in a manner that, you choose what is it that you want amongst the 5 options that we have. And if that excites you for whatever duration you want, let's deliver this and kind of shake hands and move on. So a lot of such things will have to be created. And I'm sure as we move forward, this will become a fair reality for all organizations as well.
Absolutely. We also have one more question for you. Communication and confidentiality is needed for rewards. How to ensure both simultaneously it's well done?
Yeah. So, it's a very interesting question, actually, because you need confidentiality in terms of the individual rewards, but you obviously want to ensure that the principles around it are very well communicated. There was a world, and there still is one. It's not that it's completely gone, where, they usually have a pay commission announcing that this is the pay grade. And that will be a very standard sheet telling you that at X level, this is what you get, this is what you have. And that set of population has also enjoyed the benefits of, a very standard way of approaching rewards, where everyone would get something very equally. And there would be an equitable distribution negotiated well by your representatives. And ultimately, that is what you get. So we had dearness allowance at some time. We had all these things for real. And for a large part of India, it's still real. As compared to that, we moved to a world where we said that we don't want to equate every employee. We moved to a world saying that if you are able to put an extra effort, We would like to recognize that. Now, with that is where compensations turn to be confidential. That's where we say that if I am paying X person slightly more than the other person, I may not want to call that out, because ultimately a consistent performer who is more important to me, which is almost the major part of your bell curve, he is also delivering fairly well. And while I may want to put some extra money on my top talent is not the only one who drives the organization, because they are limited number of people. You need somebody who is consistently delivering year on year and is meeting the expectations that you're saying. Meets expectations is a great rating to have, right? You are doing what the organization wants you to do. So, but unfortunately, because there is always a divide, and which is by design, not by default, in terms of where you invest more, that's where compensation becomes necessary to be confidential. Now, while you're saying that, you want to communicate people what is the rationale behind it. Confidentiality requires that individual's amount to be kept to you. But can you communicate to employees clearly saying that, this is the range, this was the rationale, this is where we are coming from. Our idea is to ensure that, let's say, as an example, that your equity will be X percentage of your CTC or X times your CTC. This is how our design looks like. Now, obviously, you may be 20% above, 20% below. Your individual numbers are not important in the overall scheme, but I'm ensuring that you have the broad philosophy in place. And the moment that is done, of course, we need to give flexibility to the managers. So there is no way that you will kind of mandate everything. Otherwise, the manager will say, where is it that I have the scope to actually appreciate and recognize within my team? So we ensure that there is a certain framework given to them, but at the same time, we leave some amount of flexibility to them to be able to appreciate, because they are the ones who are closest to the employee, and they understand how is it that they have to drive the team dynamics as well. So putting all of that together, it becomes important to communicate the overall philosophy, the approach, the principle, how the design framework has been, but you ensure that there's confidentiality around the individual's numbers, which are not as critical to the overall narrative to the employees, versus ensuring that you are telling them how exactly the design was done.
Correct. Absolutely. Also, earlier we spoke a little bit about startups as well. I think startups is becoming the culture of the new world right now. So what factors would you suggest or advise the new business owners to keep in mind while they are building the reward strategy for their new employees who would be joining them soon?
So I believe the underlying term here will be flexibility. I have come from a very traditional organization. It took me a lot of time to adopt to the fact that a startup really needs flexibility, because for any organization which is just starting up, your targets may change month on month. The business strategy, the market you want to operate in, the business verticals you want to operate with, the kind of talent that you want is ultimately going to decide whether your plan or your business plan has actually met the success that you had defined in the beginning. And for you to do this entire journey, you need the right talent. You need the right people to come in. Now, that right talent may be somebody with immense experience, because that person has been there, done that. Or that right talent may be somebody with immense energy, but not experience. But you need a mix of both. Now, when you need a mix of both, how do you get an experienced person to actually get out of wherever he is? And I'm sure if you're getting somebody who has great experience, that person is at a comfortable position, is at a place where he's got the securities, aligned. And you are asking this person to move out of his comfort zone, come to your place, get his hands dirty, get on the ground, do everything that is required, and deliver on your on your dream, on your project plan or whatever. Now, when you're asking this person to do that, obviously the expectation from him will not be a normal salary, will not be income then. He's expecting to, be paid in view of the kind of risk that he's taking for the organization. And for that kind of a risk, then that's when your wealth creation comes in. So startups, for sure, the reason why they are very generous with their equity, with their ESOPs, is that, I am trying to overcommit to you against the delivery that you would bring to the table. And that, to my mind, has been the biggest flexibility lever that startups have been able to use to get, very, very well-placed talent to their organization. And then, of course, once you see that there are a lot of people who believe in the vision, who coming from great organizations, coming to this new place, you are able to then hence attract a large inflow of additional talent as well. And when all of that comes together, that's when there's a high possibility of that startup actually delivering what it wants to. So it is in sync with the talent strategy that you have. And hence, your rewards have to be very, very flexible. You have to give that employee an opportunity to realize a wealth creation that he would not have done otherwise. And hence, get him to put his 110% of delivery on the ground. And of course, that may just change, the game for you as a startup and move you from a startup to a very, very established player. So
absolutely. It definitely recognition, reward strategies, being flexibility. I think keeping that as one of the major factors. Definitely, we are going towards the evolving trends, and this is how it looks like it's going to be for a while. So, since we are moving towards the end of the segment now, what would be that one advice you would like to give to the emerging HR professionals or employers who are putting their foot in the total rewards career?
Sure. So Shivani, my answer to will be something that I spoke of in the beginning as well. Don't be afraid to experiment with roles. All my career, I have been very conscious that I will change sectors. I've been very conscious that I will change roles, and I'll do it in sync with my life stages. So, when I had enough time on hand, I wanted to do something in the manufacturing unit because I had a lot of time to travel, go there, come back. Today, when you're a working mother with lesser kids and with 2 kids, and then, you really want flexibility in a manner that you can work and you can still deliver. But at all the stages that you are at, don't be afraid to do roles which are outside your comfort zone. And if you really intend to be a rewards professional, please get your hands dirty first as an HR business partner.
That's a very good advice for sure.
So HR business partner never sounds a glamorous role because there are just too many of them. And there's always this tendency to say that this is the end leg of the role and he's the one who's delivering. But he's the one who is actually turning what you want to be done as a reality. So if you do that role well, you actually know where the shoe hurts, and then you're able to do it in a better manner. So my advice there will be, really, really get your hands dirty, get into a role which actually makes you do all the legwork, and then you appreciate the pain that you see with everyone on otherwise, and you're able to do your role better.
Right. Of course, that's a fantastic advice. And I'm sure a lot of us are going to go back and introspect before either we get into the total rewards career or whoever is already there. I'm sure they're going to think from your perspective, take down your insights and, try to work on that path as well. I'd really like to thank you, Snigdha, for being here with us today and giving out your best advice possible. I hope you enjoyed this session as well.
Thank you so much, Shivani. This was really good.
Absolutely, our pleasure. I would once again like to thank you, our viewers who have taken out time to be here with us today, listening us. And thank you to our media collaborators, Benefico and Aapki Khabar again. See you all in the next episode of Edge Talk series very soon. And it's me, Shivani, signing off for today. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.